Dr. Mordechai Kedar, thank you for joining us. Dr. Mordechai, you are with the Begin Sadat Center at Bar Ilan University for Strategic Studies, I should say. The subject today that we'd like to talk to you about is the news that have been, that erupted the last couple of days on a possible deal between former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the prosecution on the three cases, corruption cases and other cases that he is dealing with in court. First of us, are you surprised with the news of maybe a possible deal is hovering in the horizon?
No, I was not surprised at all, because with the time, we could very clearly see that these files, which were against the Prime Minister, are almost baseless. And in this case, the prosecution, in order not to fail totally in court, they try to come to terms with the defendant in order to save their face. And this is actually what happens here. Everybody has to make his calculations, his feelings about the testimonies and what the judges are saying here and there. So this is what I'm saying. It's a calculation between both sides, but it was always in the air as a possibility which people might resort to.
Don't you think that by accepting a deal, assuming that this deal goes through, by accepting a deal, that it's implicitly an admission of guilt, because it's not just coming softly. There are a number of steps or implications that will follow on Mr. Netanyahu accepting this deal. Among them, he has to stay out of politics for up to 7 years, which practically puts him at 80 years old when he's eligible to re-enter the political arena here in Israel. So even though you make it sound like that the prosecution is trying to end these files because they don't have the evidence, or as you just described them as baseless, it seems that also Mr. Netanyahu has to pay a heavy price for accepting such a deal.
It all depends what the details of the deal is, because here the most important criterion is not being convicted or not, or being convicted or not. The main problem is, or the main question is, will it be with shameful issues or not?
Mm-hmm.
Means, will he be accused by beshaming the state or beshaming himself by committing what he allegedly committed or not?
Because you're talking about him admitting to an offense of moral turpitude, which carries with it the 7-year barring from
and this is exactly the
working
question
in politics.
And this is exactly the question, because if he admits, but this component will not be included in the deal, means he is not convicted for moral issues, he can return to politics immediately. He doesn't even to leave politics. So he won, definitely, because his followers definitely are sure that all these files are fabricated by the prosecution. Now, the other option, if he really being convicted in moral issues, and he must leave the political arena, the government will be dismantled almost in no time, apparently. Why? Because Netanyahu, he's the problem. Personally, is the problem of Lieberman, of Bennett, of Shaked, of Saar. And when he is being ousted from the political arena, there is no problem for the Likud to join the government. And in this time, in that case, they don't need the Ram party, the Muslim Brotherhood. They don't need Meretz. Maybe they don't need the Labour Party as well. And the government will return to be comprised of right or right-wingish parties, which are the majority of the Knesset.
So what you're saying is that despite whatever the outcome is, this current government, which is made up of 8 ideologically different parties, will collapse either way, and then a new probably more conservative right-wing government will be formed.
Right. Because look, if Netanyahu returns to activity because he will be, let's say, without this moral issue, still Lieberman and Saar might not join him. But it will be definitely a victory for the Likud, because all these files turn to be nothing. So the right-wingish side of the political arena will win either way.
Speaking of the Likud party, there is a leadership battle brewing now, and several names are floating to the surface. Among them, former Jerusalem mayor Nir Barakat, as well as former minister Israel Katz, and others. Who do you think that the one person who has the ability to come out of this political battle of the Likud and lead the party in the next phase post Netanyahu era?
Well, according to what I read in the media, Barakat wins, the majority or the biggest number of Likud members support Barakat. Katz is behind him, and Miri Regev is behind them all. So I really don't know, and Edelstein is actually the fourth one. I really don't know, because things might change, because there is a danger that the Likud will be divided to two parties. I still don't know about what will be the line according to which this party will be divided. But people started to talk about two big factions in the Likud, which so far Netanyahu knew very well how to unite them. But with his absence, it is a question if the Likud will remain a united party, and everything is open.
Last question, Dr. Kedar. Attorney General Avichai Mendelblecht has less than 2 weeks left on his final term before he's out of office. And I believe, according to sources, that he is in favor of some sort of a deal, plea deal with Netanyahu. Do you think that
yes,
these
because
2 weeks left, would they impact whether a deal is going to be signed before the end of January or not?
This is what people think, because Mendelblit is afraid that the one legal advisor of the government, which will succeed him, might close the cases against Netanyahu. And this will be a shameful case for Mendelblit, who actually put all his personality on it, all his fame, all his reputation on these files. And if the next one will close them, or ask the court to close them, actually, this will be shameful for Mendelblit, and his career will be totally destroyed. So, and his future is actually, he will have to go to work as a lawyer in the private market. So this is why he's very eager to finish the whole thing by the end of January. And Netanyahu might drag this thing in order to get a better deal. For Mendelblit, for example, without any moral issues or shameful issues connected to his cases.
Dr. Kedar, thank you so much for your insight. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you so much, Muhammad.